Okay, today is December the 8th of 2021, and we are here today with Julie Smith, who's running for the county clerk position for Potter County. She's the incumbent. I'm the Potter County chair, Dan Rogers. Julie, welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Let's start off by telling the voters kind of a little bit about you, where you grew up, and how you ended up in the county clerk's office, and how you ended up becoming the county clerk, and then we'll go into why you want to run again.
Okay. My name is Julie Smith, and I grew up in Amarillo. I've been here my whole life. I'm 53 years old, and I started working for the county when I was 19, and I started working for the county clerk's office during that time with under Sue Daniel, who is my predecessor. And I left the county after working there for about 4.5 years, went to work for an attorney here in town. And then in 1992, I came back to the county and I worked as the mental health coordinator for Judge Arthur Ware. When Sue decided to retire, she called me into her office and she says, "I think you should run for county clerk." And I said, "Well, I think you're crazy." But now we went home and talked to my husband about it and ran for county clerk, and I took office on January 1st of 2007.
Well, that's great. So you've been there, 14 years?
Yes. County government is what I like to do.
So you took 4 years and worked for an attorney?
I took actually 7.5. I worked.
7.5.
Yes, I worked for a local attorney and learned a lot of good things that I felt like I could bring into the position I currently hold now.
So let's explain to the people watching this that may not know, what does the county clerk's office do?
Okay. County clerk's office has a lot of different functions. Our first function is to serve the public. So that's what we do. We're public servants. And we do that we record. So if you buy property in Potter County, that information is recorded in our office. We handle marks and brands. That's currently under a re-registration period right now. We also we issue marriage license, and we also handle misdemeanor A and B cases, probate cases, guardianship, mental health. And so we serve the courts, and we do that we are the records retention basically for all of these courts, and we also serve as the clerk of commissioner courts, and we keep all the minutes and anything that is submitted to commissioner's court during that time.
So county court of law 1 and 2 file with you?
Correct. Yes.
And then all the district judges, everything's filed with the district clerk?
Correct. Yes.
And I guess they're state judges, right?
Yes, they are.
So they're not county.
Yes, that's correct.
Although there is one district judge that is within Potter County.
Mm-hmm.
But they would still file with the district clerk, not the county. The
Yes.
320th.
Yes, and there are some cases that are held, like the civil cases. Those actually are filed in the district clerk's office, but our county court at law judges hear them. And that was something that happened years ago between an agreement with Sue and I believe Cindy Groomer at the time.
So everything filed of record at the county level goes through your office, basically.
Yes, that is true.
Including marriage licenses.
Marriage license, deed records, marks and brands. We record anything that is actually a recordable document according to statute. That's what we file in what we call our official public records.
Now, if people want to find those records, is that a statewide database, or do they have to go to Potter County?
No, they have to go to Potter County. They haven't actually, they really haven't talked about a statewide database on the official public records, like property records and things of that nature. And so they can go, we've made those available online, and you can go through there. And, if you're trying to find a warranty deed and you want to sit at home in your pajamas and find that, then you can do it, or you can come up to our office and we'll be more than happy to help you.
So you said the marks and brands are going through what was the term?
It's a re-registration period.
Re-registration.
So marks and brands, we'll just call them brands. Brands are good for 10 years. And so right now that renewal period is happening until the end of February of 2022. So if you have a brand and you have livestock in Potter County, then the farmers and ranchers or whoever owns them, they're coming up to our office and they're filing those.
I thought you did it 10 years after you filed the brand.
Well, so if you have filed a brand, then so just say, if you filed it 10 years ago, now it's up for re-registration. But even if you filed it, back in January of this year, you still have to renew that brand during the registration renewal period.
Really? Is that the same in all counties?
Yes, sir.
So I need to refile my brand.
Yes, you do. Yes.
Because I just changed it a couple of years ago and refiled it. So I need to refile it again.
Yes.
Or somebody could claim my cows.
Right. Then you'd probably say then they can feed them too, right?
That's right. Yeah. If we don't get any more rain.
Right. No kidding.
Maybe wanting to pay somebody to take them.
Right. But that's important. I mean, and people don't realize how important it is to even do that. And we share that information with the sheriff's office, and we share it with the Cattle Raisers Association. Mm-hmm. And so that if they do have something going on, they can find the owner of the cattle or whatever type of livestock has gotten out, as well as any kind of investigation that may occur where, maybe back in the old days, they call it cattle rustling or something to that effect.
It wasn't but a couple of years ago when calf prices got so high, people were stealing them.
Mm-hmm. And
they'd take them across state lines and sell them.
Right.
So if you didn't have them branded, you're out.
Right. Yeah, probably out a lot of everything.
I brand all my calves every year,
mm-hmm.
just in case something happens.
Absolutely, that's important.
You never know.
Right.
You wouldn't think you'd have to do that, but now everything's electronic, right? Electronic tags and stuff that people use on their vehicles and equipment and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't got there on cattle yet.
Not yet. No, still the good old days on that.
Well, very good. So what do you see in the county clerk's office? Do you have any plans to change anything or ideas on how to make things more efficient? Or are you satisfied with how you have it set up?
Well, I think if you ask my staff and ask myself, I think we're constantly changing. We have made the official public records available online. Our court records are online. Now we don't provide court images online because some of those contain what's called sensitive data. Although it's public information, we just don't provide all of the images out there because people have a right to be protected. But I think that we have actually, back in 2017 with our court records, we changed from a 30-year-old COBOL system. If you're familiar with IT language, I'm not going to act like I'm the guru of it, but it was an old system. It served its purpose, and so then we moved forward. That also allows us to move images back and forth between the judges, court staff, makes it easily accessible for them. The judges can sign electronically, send it back to us, and we file it. And so we were actually glad to have already had that in place when COVID occurred, and everything just kind of could have gone to a halt, but it didn't.
How big of a staff do you have?
I only have 12 employees.
12?
Yeah, 13 including me. Mm-hmm. And so through us making things electronic, people through attrition, I've been able to not replace those. I'm probably down to about the bare minimum that I could have, though, because if we have somebody that's out sick, or nowadays with the COVID, there's so many restrictions on, okay, well, they have to quarantine for 10 days or 14 days, whatever the case may be, if they've been in contact with somebody. So, but I've got a great staff, I believe.
So what is one of your primary challenges that you have to deal with every day that's your biggest problem in your office that you have to deal with?
I don't really know if you would call it a problem. I think just there's always something new to learn. I feel like I'm not a lawyer, but I am in a lot of the code book, the statutes to, look up things. And so I feel like there's always something that we're looking up, because we have to meet requirements when certain documents are filed by attorneys in the court department. And so those are challenges, but those are good challenges. And I really don't feel like we have a lot of challenges within our office.
So everything kind of runs smooth and
I
efficient, and
I believe so, unless somebody tells me differently.
and you don't have an opponent in this race yet, do you?
No, I don't. Not
Well,
that I know of, do I?
well, I checked for another candidate about an hour ago, and I don't have any county-wide positions contested at this time.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll make it easy
Yeah.
but I like contested races because it helps me engage the voters and let them know and get people to the polls. And, I want a spirited race in all of them.
Well,
But if I was running for public office, I probably might think a little different.
well, obviously, I mean, that's exactly how you would think. And, I hope that the people that are currently in place, I hope that everybody sees that they're doing a good job, including myself. I am always open for suggestions. I don't know everything. And I'll refer back to Sue on her very last day in office. You'd think that somebody that had been there she served as a clerk for 28 years. And you would think that, just everything that came about, she would have the answer for. And there was a type of document that was being filed. She's like, well, I've never seen this. And at that moment, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is every day we are learning something new. And that's really what I like about it.
So people may bring you a document that you haven't seen before, and you have to figure out the right way to file it so it can be searched and found.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah. Or sometimes it may not meet the recording requirements which are set out in the property code. And so we have to make sure that those are met before we actually even accept the document. And we're not the paper police. But there are certain requirements, and then we charge a fee to do that. We record it, and then that way it's made a permanent record. So for, people who get like the biggest thing I think that not the biggest thing that people are looking for, but particularly if you've bought a piece of property from just an individual, make sure once you've paid it off that they issue a release of some sorts and that it gets recorded in the records. And so I think that I feel bad for people who come back years later and they don't have a deed to their property to show, what their hard-earned money went for.
Oh yeah, we have to deal with it all the time with title companies. I'm in the real estate business primarily, and
yeah, so exactly what I'm talking about.
People not filing that release, or they'll pay off their loan, and the lender may send them a release or may not.
Right.
Certain lenders are really good about it, and some are really bad about it.
Yes.
But the people get it, put it in their file, and they never take it down and have it filed of record.
No.
And then they move off, and 20 years later, they go to sell the property, and there's no release, and the lender's out of business or been taken over. So it can be a hassle sometimes.
Yeah, it's a real hassle.
So people need to know how important it is to file those releases.
Absolutely. It's important to file your marriage license, too, once you get married. The person that performs the ceremony is the person responsible for making sure it gets back to the office. However, sometimes they'll give them to the person if they say, oh, I'll take it right back down there. And what I'm leading up to is we had a funny story that we had a couple that their marriage license had never been recorded. And so it had been about 15 years later, and they came in, and of course the guy's joking, and he's like, am I still married? I'm like, yeah, you're still married. So we took it and recorded it. But it's just important for people to know, and we try to tell them that. And because I really do feel sorry for people who, particularly with property.
Yeah, people just don't know.
No, they don't. They sure don't.
Well, I think it used to be that the people are more familiar with the county clerk's office because they handled the elections.
Right.
But in our county, Potter County, that's been moved to a separate department.
Correct.
So you don't have to deal with the elections anymore.
No, I don't.
Did you ever have to deal with them when you were county clerk?
I did. I did them for 3 or 4 years. Yes, and then I had worked with Sue since I was 18 years old, helping out with elections.
Back when we had good old paper.
Paper ballots, hanging chads. There was a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember they did do those punch things for a short period of time, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The punch ballots.
Sure did. Did some recounts on those, and it'll make you delirious.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Well, do you have a website or Facebook page, or how can voters get a hold of you if they want to know more about you or have any questions about what you do?
They can always call my office. I am open. They can come visit me. I'm very open. I have an open door policy. I have that with my staff. I'm always open to hear what people have to say, and I like ideas. I like to know if there's a lot of people who are my friends that they do business, or I've got a friend who does a lot of, she flips houses, and she'll go, hey, this website's not working well for me, or, so they can call me at the office. I really do not have a website for my actual campaign. But everything that you would want to know about the county clerk's office, I think you can find on our website. And
so county clerk's office is kind of one of those things that's very important.
yes.
But unless you're in the real estate business or filing things, you don't ever have any interaction with it. So
Correct.
A lot of voters don't understand what the county clerk does.
They don't. The first thing that people ask me is, do you do jury duty, and are you the one I pay my taxes to? And both of those are no, I do not. But I think that, I like to look at our offices. We help people tell the stories of their lives, though, because they come in and they get marriage license, they buy property, and that's recorded there. And, we help lay loved ones to rest. We've got the probate cases, we have the guardianships. And so I think that, unless you've had that certain event that happens in your life, you don't know that you need to come to the county clerk's office to get that done.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, we're glad to have you in Potter County.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. I love my job. I love county government, and I look at our courthouse every day when I walk in, and I'm very thankful for what I do, and that's the honest truth.
I think we're very fortunate to live where we do and have the quality of people that we have here. I mean, the fact that as of today, 5 days before the deadline, we don't have any contested races in our county tells you a lot. That means the people we have in office must be doing a good job.
Well, I hope so. I would like to think that.
Well, we really appreciate you coming by today, and I think the voters will love the opportunity to get to know a little bit about you.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Julie.
All right.
Thanks.
Uh-huh.